Hey guys, welcome back, Drip and Farm for Popular host Drip Coach, and let's jump right into it. So today we're diving into the thrilling world of DeFi and how it's much akin to an epic roller coaster ride that can be an awesome ride or a extreme letdown. So as you know, roller coasters have their ups and downs, and that is exactly what DeFi is about. I'm going to show you some images I'm sure you've seen before regarding the psychology of the market, the Wall Street psychology as well. And you'll see how these kind of tie together. And one you may not have seen, which is the 5 stages of emotional change, and how this relates directly to essentially entrepreneurs and more so developers or people in the DeFi crypto space in general, because everybody developing in the crypto space to some degree is a entrepreneur, whether they want to wear that hat or not. But when you're creating something from scratch, especially in an industry that is new and unknown, then you are definitely marching forward in uncharted territory and kind of wearing that entrepreneurial hat, whether you like it or not. So you can think of kind of crafting the next big idea in DeFi as like building a shiny new roller coaster that everyone is lining up to try. In the beginning, there's a lot of excitement, and that is the hope and optimism phase that we're used to in the Bitcoin chart. Where is that? This one? No, this one on TradingView. So this is kind of like the initial up of a roller coaster, right? Everything's going up. It's like, it's exciting, all that good stuff. So hope and optimism is the cycle that you're in, especially again, being an entrepreneur when you're building, because you are running this brand new unknown, and that's what makes it kind of fun. That's also where you start off in these 5 cycles of emotional change. So you have this informed pessimism, basically leading up to uninformed optimism, where basically you are unsure of things, but, or I should say, you have some information, but you're not exactly hopeful of the turnaround yet. So it's like the building phase, like getting all the momentum and stacking things up and getting ready for whatever it could be. But that's where the twist comes in, because DeFi projects are not just about coding. They are more so about running this emotional roller coaster, more so as an entire theme park, where you need the business smarts to keep the ride running smooth and the visitors happy, or else you wind up down here in the valley of despair and stuck in this perpetual cycle, unable to get out. And that would be, I don't know if you've ever been to a roller coaster, but usually they get stuck up here. Like as you're going, if there is a issue on the ride, you have to exit at this stage. But you could imagine if you hit that drop and you were just stuck down here in depression and disbelief, which is where a lot of, again, projects and again, in entrepreneurs, developers, creators of new things end up, because they don't actually, after they get this uninformed optimism where they're thinking everything's great and this is going to be awesome, this is where the blocking and tackling I was telling you comes in. It's where you have customer service and you start to have problems and all these things show up, and you're down here, and that is very, very challenging. And rarely do entrepreneurs, builders make it out of this space. This is also what happens to the pump and dumps, because once they get here, they realize it's not working and they think it's something wrong with the project or whatever, but it actually is the fact that they just don't have the business acumen or the skills to bring it out of this natural cycle. So instead they cut off here and then go right back and repeat the cycle. And we end up having, again, pump and dumps or quick flips or, you know, liquidity runs or drains on the capital or exploits, whatever, you name it. That's kind of what happens in that phase. So in the TradFi side, this is where the excitement drops off, and it happens when the newness, you know, wears off, and you have to focus on managing teams, running a business model, and keeping all that hype and momentum that got you up here, keeping it going. And that's where the psychology, Wall Street psychology of a market cycle comes in, because you're here, and if you can find a way to push through, you end up getting back to where you started the cycle to begin with, back over here with Disbelief. But again, unless you have the skills to weather that storm, you're kind of stuck. And this is how you see that the Wall Street psychology of a market cycle, and then the typical Bitcoin chart, and even again the emotional cycle of change, which is used for any kind of new skill you want to develop, a hobby or anything. Like if you were learning to play guitar or something you never learned how before, you follow this exact same thing. It's cool in the beginning, you pick it up, you learn a few chords, you're making a few notes, maybe learn a simple song, and then you want to try something new or harder or whatever. You're like, oh my God, this is so difficult. Now I got to put in those 10,000 hours, right? And all of these cycles are identical to one another, and they require a set of skills to break out of that cycle. Unfortunately, again, in DeFi, crypto developers don't have, typically, most of the ones we've seen, don't have the skills to keep a project going, to get it out of the hype and euphoria side. So all they do is like fork the contract, make a new one, jump onto a different chain, get some new influencers to start shilling it. So all that is just a liquidity drain or pump and dumps, or exit liquidity, I should say, to just keep this going. So it's more like this. And then instead of them building the skills here, they just go reshill the project, fork it onto another chain, change their name in totality, come up with a different developer team name or whatever. Or like we're seeing with Black Hole Finance, try to whitewash the charts and pretend it's something new. So the skills are completely missing. The business acumen is missing. The ability to lead a project to long-term sustainability is missing. So the solution is to just keep redoing this cycle. And that works for the developers and the people that have actual, fees and stuff on the contracts. But to the uninformed investor, they just end up down here. Most of them just get wrecked. So you can see the similarities across the board. So in order to succeed, DeFi projects specifically have to break this cycle, and they need a solid track, an actual business foundation, and the foresight to see the up and coming twists and turns that will plague the project. So again, it's not just about the code, it's about understanding the entire ride from start to finish, engineering the entire thing. You can't build the track as you go, because you'll lose some people. If your ride or the tracks just stop here, all those people are crash and burn at the end, and you're gonna have to now resell this to other people. It's like, oh, well, sorry about those that died here, but we've now added some extra tracks, so come try the ride now. It's like, it doesn't quite work that way. So you have to have this foresight in the beginning to build this thing out. And again, unfortunately, I think the bulk of the developers in the crypto space are lone wolves, taught themselves how to code or develop or whatever the case may be, or maybe came from gaming areas or development stuff on their own previously, so that they never worked in the business side is what I'm trying to get at. So they have the skills to write code and contracts, things of that nature, but they don't have the actual business acumen to lead a project. So knowing that, you can actually play the game and get in, get a quick flip, and understand that these cycles will be here, and not get caught up into this until you start to see projects and real utility, real developers with real business acumen pushing things forward, which I guess will be your blue chips, things of that nature. And again, I mentioned Tom Bilyeu and how he has the skills, but it's still for him because the industry is here. Like I mentioned multiple times, you can't fight the energy in the space. So even if you're Tom Bilyeu, Gary Vaynerchuk, and you're building these platforms with the proper teams in place, your checks and balances with the SEC, all this stuff, your project still looks like this. So that's where us as the investor have to decide, are we going to bet on the long-term hodl and hold strategy, the blue chips, and people like Tom or Gary V or even Tony Robbins, I think, has a project right now with AI and stuff. Are you going to bet on them, or do you play the game with the energy currently there and get the quick flips, knowing that this is how developers operate? So as long as you know the cycle that's coming, you can get out before it's too late. Unfortunately, though, that means that someone's left holding the bag and you're just using someone else's exit liquidity. But you can't really change any of that, operate the way the world is, not the way you wish it was. And that is the psychology of the market. And there's nothing else you can do about it except for either ride the wave with blue chips again and get back over here, or just stick to this. And that's kind of what DeFi is. It's this energy here. So hopefully that makes some sense, draw some parallels, and you guys can see how that works. Again, it's not all doom and gloom. The whole point of me sharing this with you guys is to educate you on the lessons learned that I've gotten over the last couple of years, and understanding, again, not going against the energy and leveraging it so that you can make the best opportunity out of this. So even this image here, very similar to the 5 cycles of emotional change. When they simplified the market cycle, it's exactly the same. So the reason these are all the same is because we're human, and this is the way our brain is wired. So when you understand the underlying computer chip known as our brain and how it operates, then you can plug it into any operating system and be able to make gains. But sometimes that comes with some losses in the beginning. So some lessons learned along the way. All right, that's all I got. Smash that HBO special, help brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below, and until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.
Want to pay your in real life bills with crypto? How about send crypto directly to anyone with a bank account? SPRITZ Finance is a decentralized solution to be your own bank and connect your crypto earnings to real world bills and payments. They do not take custody of your assets and allow support on multiple blockchains and Web3 wallets. Sign up below using my referral link and you will get $50 back when you make your first $50 bill payment with crypto. Additionally, I will be using referral bonuses to airdrop, donate, or burn based on community feedback. Sign up now.